diving right into everything. We're back going around the country, having wrestling in front of fans. How are you doing? How's the body holding up with all the travel? Just how are you doing in this kind of back to normal state of wrestling?
I feel great, honestly. With the travel, with the work. I'm back on my first live events this weekend, so I'm really excited about that. So I have, Friday night with Zelina, Saturday night, I don't know. And then Sunday night, I have Extreme Rules with Carmella, and I'm excited about it all. I feel great. Honestly, I feel like I'm more of like, I'd rather be so busy with all my work than to not be busy with anything. And I feel like luckily my body, I don't know, I've just been really lucky to be healthy, and I'm so small, the travel doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? I like sit in a plane with my feet up like this, and I'm just like good to go. I'll stay on a plane all day. So I have no complaints. I'm just happy and excited, and I just feel ready to go.
And that's really good. But before we get to Extreme Rules, I do want to jump back to Money in the Bank, because that was here in Fort Worth, and that was one of the first shows for you guys back in front of everybody. And just I'm pretty sure you would appreciate this. I was there with my dad and my girlfriend, and y'all opened the show with the women's ladder match, and Alexa's was the first music to hit. And there was a family behind me that had two little girls. Alexa's music hit, they popped pretty hard for Alexa, and then your music hit, and I couldn't hear for like the next three entrances.
Yeah.
So how was that specifically coming into that pay-per-view and just going through that match? Because you yourself had a lot of big spots. You didn't get the briefcase, but you had a lot of big moments in that match.
Yeah, I mean, leading up to Money in the Bank, it felt so special, and I felt like I was on such a wave of momentum. The crowd, it was our first shows back with the crowd, and not for some reason, but for some reason the crowd, they just were so behind me, and I appreciated that so much. Then I just don't expect like anything. So then when, I come out and I get, a pop, or like they're really reacting to something that I'm doing, I'm just like, oh, I'm like, cool. I never expect it. So it just, when it happens, I'm just like so grateful and thankful. And yeah, Money in the Bank was one of my favorite nights of my career. It just felt like, I'm here. And if you didn't know it, now you know it.
Well, I'll say one of my personal favorites, at least for you, was your performance in the Elimination Chamber in 2020, which, funny enough, was the last pay-per-view with actual fans before it all shut down.
When I passed out?
Well, just because I actually just rewatched that match not that long ago in preparation for this, but just because you in that match spent 20 minutes in the pod and somehow managed great storytelling with four other people who went into that match. So just what do you remember from that match, and how do you think you've evolved from not only at the Elimination Chamber, but going from being in NXT, getting into big spots with the Riot Squad and into single spots in Elimination Chambers to where you are now?
Oh, wow. Okay. So I remember Elimination Chamber, my emotions were so heightened to a point that I could not control. Every time someone is let out of their cage, it's like you're ready to go to war. And then they're like, no, not yet. And so you're just like, okay. And you just have all this adrenaline and you can't really use it. And then also that was like a culmination of like the Riot Squad imploding. It's like my first time being in a ring with Ruby and Sarah, where we hate each other. And I mean, looking back, I'm happy that we kind of they were eliminated before I even came out, And so I look back and I'm like, I kind of prefer that, just because I still do love them. But it was just insane. When my pod finally opened, I was like shaking. I was shaking. I had tears in my eyes, and I just see Shayna looking at me like a freaking maniac. And I'm just like, oh man, I just watched her decimate 3-4 girls ahead of me, and now she's staring at me across my pod, just waiting for me to come out. But I was ready to die that day. I was like, okay, bring it, but I knew like, oh man, I'm gonna get my ass kicked a little bit. So I just was like hyping myself up, like here we go. And then I had it for a little bit, but she caught me and she choked me out, and I tried, but I went to sleep. I had my fighting spirits couldn't be higher though. The most fighting spirit I've ever had in my entire life. But yeah, to have moments like that, they're all just special to me. Like, because I said, I just try to work hard and do my best. I don't really expect anything, and so to be put in those moments where I have a responsibility and I'm trusted, I live for that, and I love that, especially because I worked in NXT quite a bit, but I never really had anything that I could sink my teeth into, or I felt like I never really had anything that challenged me. I mean, everything was challenging. I was still just learning, how to work, and I just was, figuring things out with myself, but I never really was challenged. And so I feel like I'm doing so many firsts for the first time on, Raw or SmackDown, like my first promos, my first stipulation of this match. Like, I feel like I'm kind of just doing everything for the first time in front of everyone's eyes. And I hope that I just kill it every single time.
Well, with the fighting spirit, if you follow Liv on Instagram, you put out a whole lot of training videos that are very impressive. And the more I get to see certain things that you put in Instagram videos, I get to see you have the opportunity to do them in the ring. It's just like, I saw that she was working on that.
Yeah.
So just, how do you feel that your in-ring game has kind of evolved?
I love training. I feel like this business specifically, like, you'll never learn everything. Like, you'll just never learn everything. There's so much. There's like, the knowledge is endless. And especially during the pandemic, where we went from performing 300 plus days to, 1 day a week. We're not getting those same reps in. And for me, I want to be in the same conversation as Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Bailey. And so I know, like, I have my work cut out for me, but I love that work. Luckily I get to train at Natty's. Natty has, a ring that she owns, and, the Dungeon 2.0, and she lets me go there every single week, sometimes 2 times a week. And it's just because, above all, like, of course I want championships. Of course I want the accolades, but my main goal is just to see how good I can be. All I really want is to see how good that I can be. So I feel like I owe it myself to train and to get better. I have a wrestling ring in my backyard. It's not set up yet, but I am in the process of starting to build it, which is going to take forever. But I just want to see how good I can be, really. So I love training. I love feeling like I improved. I love giving my fans the kind of, like, inside scoop of, like, this is what I'm working on. Let's see when I can whip it out, in real time.
And stepping outside of the ring, you mentioned being back home. Now that you have to be back out on the road maybe not all the time, but back out on the road anyway. How are all the animals back home? How are all the cows? How are all of them doing without Honestly, you, basically?
It's been so bizarre. Luckily my mom comes when I leave, and she holds down the fort. She takes care of everything, but I've had some issues. So quick little story. I'll try to make it quick. I have neighbors that have cows as well, right? And so for like a week and a half, I was hearing, like, moaning, like, just like, rah, like cow yelling, right? And then so I'm like, damn, are they like eating their cows next door, right? Because I just hear, like, this yelling. And then I wake up one morning, and, like, my neighbors are on the property, and they're, like, fixing the fence. And I'm like, hey. And they're like, we're so sorry. Our bull broke through the fence and was with your girls all night, and we don't know what happened. And so I just was like, oh, damn. So pretty much I'm going to have, like, 5 pregnant cows in 50 days. Cows only are pregnant for, like, 54 days. And so if what happened is what I think happened, then I'm going to have, like, 5 new cows in, like, 2 months, which I'm happy about, but it's insane. And also, so just more on that, he keeps on breaking the fence. So now he has, like, sleepovers, like 2 nights a week. He just comes and goes as he pleases. And I'm just like,
I guess that's just a thing now.
Yeah, it's just a thing. And also, if I had, like, nice cows, I'd be like, yay. But I saved my cows from a meat farmer. He had, like, 60 acres, tons and tons of cows. And so I bought 5 cows from him. And so they're kind of like, what's the word? Like, they're just very reserved, like they're accustomed to, like, people going around them and it being like danger. And so I have to, like, really ease my way. Like, no, I'm friends. Like, we're family. I'm never going to hurt you. And So pretty much what I'm saying is I'm gonna have generations of like kind of cows, you know.
Well, just maybe they just keep lining up with pay-per-views and then all the names just make themselves.
I know. I have Rumble, I have Mania. I had another one born, not on a pay-per-view, but yeah, it's just so bizarre. It's just so funny. It's such a funny little life, you know. I really like having both. I like having the hustle and bustle of like the road and the travel and the people and the pacing, and then I like coming back to the farm and it's just like nothing, you know. It's just me and these animals, and we're just all trying to figure life out together.
And then another outside the ring thing, but still in WWE circles on Up Up Down Down, the WWE's resident gaming channel on YouTube. You have a pretty spicy rivalry with someone actually from North Texas in Ember Moon.
Gosh.
And I would just like to know if you guys have sort of rekindled the Pokemon Stadium rivalry since the tournament, or just how the friendship status between you guys is after some fiery matches.
If I had a choice, I would never, not once in my life, play Pokemon Stadium with Ember ever again. She's so intense. She gets mean. It's like, Ember, I just want to have fun. I just want to laugh and play Pokemon. You know what I mean? She's in it to win it, and I guess so am I, but I just want to have fun. She plays it like sport, like we're about to wrestle a match and the title's on the line. And I'm just like, damn, I'd rather be on her team. I'd much rather be on the same side as Ember playing Pokemon than ever against her ever again in my whole entire life.
So do you have a favorite sort of video game ever, or just one that you're super into right now?
Right now I'm playing Spider-Man, and I thought it was the new Spider-Man, but it's the old Spider-Man. Like I had full intention on, you know, playing the Miles Morales Spider-Man, but I'm playing old Spider-Man. But it's cool. I spent a lot of time on Fable. I beat Def Jam Vendetta in like 29 hours. I just binged Def Jam Vendetta like straight through, loved it. And honestly, someone needs to make like a more updated current version of Def Jam Vendetta. I don't know why that's not a thing.
Absolutely.
That game is amazing. But yeah, right now I'm just playing Spider-Man, and I'm just, you know, webbing my way through the cities, saving civilians, you know, trying to do good deeds.
Just making your way downtown. I can dig it.
Yeah.
But back in the ring, I'm actually repping the brand today. But WrestleMania is back in AT&T Stadium in what, about 6 months from now. And believe it or not, should you remain healthy, remain active, this will actually be your 5th WrestleMania already. That was a surprise to me when I put those numbers together. But the last WrestleMania, another first of fans coming back. This past WrestleMania was in Tampa. The fans came back.
So amazing.
And it was another experience for you where the fans were very behind you guys. So just how was that in that stadium, which was not totally full? And what are you expecting for a stadium that is insanely full?
I had no expectations WrestleMania this year, just because we just were so happy to have the fans back. Like that was like the number one goal, is like they're here in person. Like everything we do is for the fans. So when you take that out of the equation, it's almost like you feel like directionless. You're just like, no, you want to make these people hate you or love you. You want to entertain them. You want to make their day better. And so when they're not there, it's just like, you know, you're just missing a huge element that just makes what you do, why you do it. But that was amazing. I loved that match, the tag team turmoil match. Ruben and I almost had them. That was incredible. The crowd they were pulling for us to win. And so that meant so much to Ruby and I. But next year I'm excited. I'm definitely going to be healthy. I think I'm going to win the championship at WrestleMania this year. I'm excited. You know, I'm excited to have full capacity. It felt like full capacity at this past, you know, WrestleMania. It felt like we sold it out just to have people back. You know, it was a bizarre feeling. I remember we all, to open the show, we all walked on stage, and it was the first time any of us on the whole entire roster were in front of people like that, like in a year and a half. And so we all just were on stage with like goosebumps and tears in our eyes as the show's opening, just like, wow, we're really about to do this. Like, we're back in action, baby. And it was raining.
Yep. Both days.
It was raining.
But so now coming up this Sunday, Extreme Rules, 1-on-1 with Carmella after Zelina on Friday. Just what's the deal with those guys? Who doesn't like Liv Morgan? She plays video games, she has cows, and she's a dope wrestler. What is their deal?
I don't know. We started beef back in Money in the Bank when, Sonya was just appointing them positions in the matches. I felt like, they should earn it. And so for some reason that makes me the bad guy, that makes them not like me because I thought that they should earn, their spots. But they kind of have aligned themselves together, which makes them double annoying. I mean, Zelina, I think she's just like a hater a little bit. She just wants to, insert herself in all these things that have nothing to do with her. And she like makes cosplays of me and she mentions me when no one's even talking about me to her. She does all these like weird little things to like make me mad. And so I'm not surprised at all that she would try to just have another match with me when it had absolutely nothing to do with her at all. She just wants to insert herself wherever she can. And as for Mella, I just feel like I almost feel sorry for her just a little bit, she's two-time Money in the Bank winner. She's Smackdown Women's Champion. She's beaten Asuka. She's beaten Charlotte Flair. She has all these accolades and so many things to be proud of herself for. But all she says is how she's the most beautiful woman in all of WWE. And it's not my job to psychoanalyze her. But I'm just like, Mella, there's so much more to you than just your being beautiful. And so she hates me for that too. So, I try to encourage people, and you can't win. You can't do anything right. People, they shouldn't earn their spots and you should only love yourself for your looks. And I don't know, so I guess we'll see what happens. I'm excited. I hope I never have to hear from them again after Sunday. I hope that this kind of settles it. Whatever, Mella, if you want to say you're the most beautiful after Sunday, go for it. Hopefully I'll be at Raw and I don't have to hear you.
And for those paying attention, the draft is coming up as well. So a lot of things can change here very soon. And one last question. I'm running out of time here. You usually have very intricate ring gear, and around pay-per-views or times some people usually pop out some new stuff. Is there any new Liv ring gear on the way people can be expecting?
I mean, I have new ring gear every single week almost. So I definitely was going to have new ring gear for Extreme Rules. So I do. It's not anything themed, but it's just a cute little gear that makes me feel extreme.
Well, right on brand with the pay-per-view coming up this Sunday, Extreme Rules on Peacock and the WWE Network around the rest of the world. Liv, thank you for taking a couple of minutes today to talk about it, and good luck. And who knows, get a big dub on Sunday, and maybe we'll see you at AT&T Stadium as a champion.
I'm getting the dub on Sunday, then let's do my follow-up interview after that.
I'm down whenever you guys are ready.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.